Hey there, my name is Jacob Rhodes and I'm with the Surface team. Today I'm going to switch it up a little bit. What I normally do is highlight technical features of our products. I love diving into the details. Today I'm going to do a little bit of that, but with an unboxing of our latest Surface Pro for Business and Surface Laptop for Business, our new Copilot PCs that are powered by Intel Core Ultra Series 2 processors. So let's talk a little bit about them. I'm really excited to dive in. Let's unbox them and get started. So you'll notice that these are in brown boxes, and that's because these are our commercial specific or our business focused devices. This packaging allows us to have essentially plastic free packaging, so paper based packaging in these devices. And it's awesome for sustainability efforts, both for Microsoft and for our customers. And it makes it just a nice experience to use as well. So if we take a look at this USB 4 dock in front of me, you'll notice that I can actually open up this packaging without any tools. So I'm actually going to get started with that now. And listen to that. Sounds so good and easy to get into. I actually opened up another one of these yesterday for use in my own studio. And so right within here, you'll notice that these are paper-based fasteners, and we even have paper-based kind of ports as well. So if we look into the device, I've got USB-C ports, USB-A, a ton of stuff, but the experience when you open this for the end user, for whoever gets this, is really just a pleasant one. It feels just so nice to get into it. And it just makes for an awesome experience. We've got a USB-C connector on the other side, but this can sit right on your desk and be your docking station with everything you need to power your new Surface device. So let's talk a little bit about the dock itself. I love the fact that it's a small, compact dock, and it's actually our first dock that has HDMI on it, at least that I've known of that we've shipped in a long time. So it's got an actual full-size HDMI port. It supports 2 monitors if you want to, so you can plug in one via the USB Type-C port, which is a USB 4 compatible port. So a lot of monitors have that Type-C connection, but you have HDMI. And what's really cool, one of the things I'm actually most passionate about is that the power supply on this dock is actually a USB-C power supply. So if we actually open up and take a look at it, I think it's super cool because the PSU here, it's a 100-watt power supply, but on either side, it's got just a USB Type-C connection. And so that's what's powering the dock itself. And then 65 of those watts get to pass through to your device, which is enough to fast charge these devices from 10 to 80% in under an hour. So really cool that you have that built right into your dock. It's got standard awesome Surface dock features like a Kensington port for ease of locking to your desk if you need to. It's got an Ethernet port as well for fast networking, as well as front side USB-A and USB Type-C ports. So this is a great place, a great kind of mainstream solution for most users to be able to dock up their Surface, whether they're at home or at work. Really great solution. All right, so now let's package up this dock and put it away. So I've got my power supply. And I've got the dock itself. And we're gonna move to this Surface Pro. So now we've got the Surface Pro for Business. And this, remember, is that one with Intel Core Ultra Series 2 processors. And I'm so excited about these. The box is about as small as it can get while still having a power supply and the 13-inch device inside. But it is a really compact box. And really easy. It's got the serial numbers printed on it, so easy for scanners to be able to pick those up if you're shipping 1,000 of these to your users, or if you're just trying to figure out exactly which SKU of what device you have, which as a marketer is something that we have to keep in mind all the time to make sure we've got the right color, the right configuration. All of that is actually printed on the outside of the box, which is nice. So if we get into actually opening this device up, I've got a little knife here. It makes it really easy to access the box itself. Yes. And if I open it up now, the first thing that the user sees here is actually just the Surface Pro. And it's nicely wrapped in this actually plastic-free bag. A lot of times you see boxes that have just tons and tons of plastic, but we use paper-based packaging here at Microsoft. And what that means is that when you open up the device for the first time, you've got this really nice premium bag feel. I just love the way it feels, and it's really easy then to open up and slide out the device. And the device feels awesome in it. It's cold to the touch, and what's cool about that is because it's an aluminum alloy, this anodization is what you notice right away. The feel, it doesn't pick up fingerprints easily, and it's just a really, really nice kind of finish. And the moment you unbox it, you get right into the Pro. You don't get into a bunch of notices, a bunch of paperwork. You get the device right away. So I love that. Now, if we set this device over to the side for a second, the rest of the stuff in the box is also interesting. So we do still have some of that paperwork that's important. And we also have the power supply in here. Now, what's cool about these power supplies is they connect via Surface Connect. And so on the Surface Pro, there's a Surface Connect port here that makes it really easy to access and break away the power connection. So it's magnetic, and then if you accidentally trip over your cable, it's okay. It just really easily removes, and your device doesn't get knocked off the desk. And I love these power supplies because they do support fast charging as well. So you can charge up your device really quickly when you're on the go. But all of this just feels really, really nice to use. And I'm actually going to set this box out of the way while we talk about the rest of the Surface Pro. So when we're talking about the Surface Pro here, the first things you'll notice is the exterior. That aluminum unibody experience just feels so awesome to the touch. And you'll also notice that this is a tablet. It's a 2-in-1 device. It's the Surface Pro. It's kind of the quintessential Surface. But you've got these chamfers here on the side. And they're on both sides of the device, and it makes it really easy to open up the kickstand. Now, the kickstand is one of the things, I mean, people often joke, at least on the internet, they joke that Microsoft does a lot of great products, but they've become really, really good at making hinges. So I often hear that like Microsoft's become a hinge company. And that's partly because of the Surface Pro. There's not that much truth to being just a hinge company, but it does talk a little bit about the engineering that went into this hinge. And what's awesome is that with the single finger, I've got the ability to move down to 165 degrees. And then I'm in kind of this studio mode, and it's easy for me to pull out a Surface Slim Pen, ink directly on screen, and use the device as a tablet with all the flexibility you want. I also love highlighting that on this, the kickstand also hides something else. So Microsoft's taken a huge step forward in our sustainability and our repairability efforts. And one of the easiest ways to point that out is actually this right here. So there's a little trap door. You might be able to see that's a little bit different than the rest of the aluminum enclosure here. If you press in on that, you actually can expose the SSD inside. And that's it. This device, it seems to have a 256 gig SSD. You can get this up to 1 terabyte in this product. But there's a single screw there. Now, this is super important for business customers because they can remove that SSD for data, loss protection and data policies for retention. And what's also cool about that is this device is so much more repairable than our previous gen devices. And the device actually right in here, the SSD, when you remove that, that kills power to the device. And so then it makes it safe to open up the computer and service it and replace the USB-C ports, replace the camera modules, or whatever it is you want. So I love kind of highlighting that part of it. Now, as we talk about the rest of the device, you'll notice that there's a rear-facing 4K camera. So that's awesome because it is a tablet and you can see your environment around you. But as we move to the other side, I do want to just highlight that you've got this immersive kind of edge-to-edge pixel sense display. And now I've got other devices that I can use to showcase this on, but if I do tap the power button here, let's see kind of the first time boot up. And I promise this is the first time I've actually hit the power on this device. And while I'm waiting for it to boot up for its first initial boot up, I want to talk a little bit about the weight of the device. It feels so good in your hand. And thanks to that kickstand, it's actually really flexible to be able to carry around. Whether you're using kind of in this clamping motion, really it doesn't matter how you carry it. I can carry it here with my hand, or even I tuck it under my arm a lot of times because it's so light and so easy to handle. I've got colleagues that really want the lightest possible device. They love having a Surface Pro in their bag as their only device because it's just so light. So I just love kind of highlighting those things about it as we get the device kind of booted up and starting out. Just a really, really easy premium feeling device to handle. And there we are. We're right back into Windows here for the first time boot up. So now that we're up here in Windows for its first boot, let's talk a little bit about accessories to enhance the experience. Now, a lot of folks will use this as a tablet, maybe in a frontline scenario or a tablet first, like a kiosk, but a ton of users will actually want to pair it up with a keyboard accessory. So our Surface Pros have a bunch of great keyboards. This is one of my favorites because this is the Surface Pro Flex keyboard. And what's cool about this is it can really easily connect up to the Surface Pro, and it's got a magnetic connection to do so. And it can do a couple of different things. It can lay flat, but it also moves up at a higher angle for a little more ergonomic typing experience. But you also have the ability to detach this. And there's actually batteries here on either side of the pen storage where you can use this in a fully detached motion for up to a week, up to 40 hours of use essentially, to be able to have this separate from your device. And where this really shines for me is a few different ways. I'm actually going to pull up an accessory. It's one of our designed for Surface accessories. So we partnered with Kensington to build this great stand. And what's cool about it is it can flip open. So I actually carry this one around. This is the one that I use in my bag most days. And you can open it up. And when you do so, you can slide in your Surface Pro. And that kickstand allows for full versatility on what angle you use the device in. So in this case, you want your camera to be a little higher raised up so that you're looking more eye level. And then I've got the ProFlex keyboard here as my only way for inputting on this device from my desk. I don't need a desktop keyboard. I don't need a desktop mouse. I've got this as my main keyboard, and I've got my Surface Pro raised up, oftentimes maybe in the middle of my monitor or on the side of an ultra-wide monitor setup that I use. But on the Surface team, we don't need any external microphones or external webcams or anything like that because we've got the great microphone and webcam right here. That Quad HD Surface Studio camera captures you really, really well. And I'd actually love to show that in a second with a device I already have set up. So let's transition to that now. Now, you'll notice that I have a Surface Pro here that's already been set up. Now this is with our black finish, so customers have the option of the platinum or the black. And what's super nice about this is that this is in the beautiful black color. And what's awesome about this is it does not pick up fingerprints very easily. It's got a great coating on it that will kind of be oleophobic, so kind of oil and smudge resistant, which is really cool. And as we open up the device, I do want to highlight that there's some awesome screen options on the device too. So this has the OLED screen, that organic LED, which is really, really inky blacks. I love to kind of highlight the fact that on an OLED screen, every individual pixel lights up or turns off on its own, which is just awesome to have on the Core Ultra 7 SKUs of this Surface Pro. And yeah, I just love highlighting that. On the Core Ultra 5 SKUs, we have an LCD display that is still amazing display. All of our Surface displays are actually color calibrated at the factory. And that means that you get a consistent experience no matter which Surface device you're using, which Surface display you're using, you have that kind of color accuracy and consistency with the display. Now I want to highlight something that I've been using on this Surface Pro for a while. And that's this Surface Pro Flex keyboard is a little bit different than the one that I just unboxed. And that's because this has our bold key set. And what's awesome about this is it's a little bit easier for everyone to see and access, and the keys are just a little bit more vibrant and easy to see. Now, accessibility is super important at Microsoft. And not only do we build it into our software products and our hardware products like the keys, but we also have an inclusive haptic touchpad on here where you can actually no longer have that kind of diving board feel of a touchpad and just use the haptics on there to adjust and fine tune things and even turn on adaptive touch mode for people of all abilities to be able to use the touchpad, make it a little easier for folks to access. So now let's talk a little bit about the Surface Slim Pen that's right here. Now I can really easily push down my Surface Pro display, pull out the Slim Pen from its charging, and pull up an application like OneNote, which is a great showcase not only of the pen's capabilities with over 4,000 levels of pressure sensitivity, multiple buttons for selecting things, for erasing things, but also the screen's capability. It's a combination of both the haptics that are in the pen as well as its interaction with the custom chip we have on the device that powers the screen capability. So those interactions mean it feels a little bit less like you're touching a screen and a little bit more like you're touching maybe a piece of paper or you're writing on a canvas, depending on how those haptics are tuned. So it just makes for a great, really inclusive experience, both with that high refresh rate Pixel Sense Flow display, as well as the Surface Slim Pen. So now I've kind of given you an overview of these devices. Let's put these devices away and we'll move on. Okay, so now I want to talk to you about a personal favorite of mine. I know we're not supposed to have favorites. The Surface Pro is amazing, the Surface Laptop is amazing, but there's a quick anecdote about the Surface Laptop. The Surface Laptop is the first Surface device that I ever spent my own money on. The first generation of the laptop is actually the first Surface that I owned myself, and I have just fallen in love with this product over the years. So really excited and passionate to talk a little bit about the Surface Laptop for Business. So we have the 15-inch device right in front of me today. And this one is a larger one. We actually just a few years ago added in the 15-inch option, but we've got a completely redesigned chassis and some other stuff that I'm excited to get into. So now we're actually gonna open it up and unbox the Surface Laptop. Now, once again, we've got that same great kind of paper-based packaging in this device, and we can open up the laptop right from here. Set that out of the way. Now, this is the 15-inch device, and I want to highlight a few things about this. First of all, it feels super light and feels really compact. I actually don't believe oftentimes that it's the 15-inch device because it feels so much more compact. And there's a few things that are really special about this device, but one of them I want to highlight is just the fact that our repairability has taken a huge step up. And we have really focused on these devices on making them more repairable for our customers. A small thing that I like showing is there's these little rubber feet on the bottom. And on previous gen Surfaces, it was difficult to access these. But now it's actually quite easy for you to pull off the foot and access the 4 screws that are underneath it to be able to remove the bottom enclosure and access a whole host of repairable pieces within here. So I love highlighting that. And then it snaps right back on. You don't even need to worry about replacing those parts. Now there's great ports on this Surface Laptop 15-inch. We've got a USB-A, we've got 2 USB Type-C ports. These are Thunderbolt 4 certified. We also have that Surface Connect port for charging and a micro SD card. And you'll notice one other thing. On certain configurations of this Surface Laptop 15-inch, we actually have a smart card reader here. And what's cool about that is it allows for authentication, a lot of different industries, a lot of different use cases for authenticating there with smart card. But of course, you've got that great Surface Hello camera on the device too. So if I open it up here, there's a few things you're gonna notice right away. One is a massive, awesome, inclusive haptic touchpad. What's great about that is it's really easy to access, really easy to adjust. Then you have a great keyboard here. And what's unique about this keyboard is Microsoft has a whole team, the human factors team, that puts years and years of research. Actually, Microsoft was a keyboard company in the hardware space before we were making computers. Over 30 years of keyboard knowledge has gone into this keyboard, and we actually have things like Dish, that little divot in each key that allows you to find the center of the key, and we take care of all of the initial activation force of each key to kind of reduce strain and increase typing accuracy when you're using a keyboard every single day, which is probably one of your primary points of input on this device. Now, speaking of input, this also has that awesome Pixel Sense Flow display, that high refresh rate, edge-to-edge screen, 15-inch on this device or 13.8 in the smaller laptop. And it's a touchscreen, so I can select things really easily, even in that clamshell form factor. As someone who uses a Surface device every day, there's no way I could use a device without touch. It's that easy to just touch, move up on the screen, and access everything you need to. Scroll, all of that stuff is just a joy to use on the Surface. So that's a little bit about the Surface Laptop for Business. We're super excited about this latest Copilot Plus PC. Thanks for listening to me, and we'll see you later.